We continue with what, in a way, is quite possibly my favorite author. That, I've commented through this book before, through another book of talking through the authors, but yeah, as far as ones where I don't have a vision that I have shared that's detailed myself, this really stands out here. The Cry of the 15th Aethyr, which is called Oxo. There appears immediately in the Aethyr a tremendous column of scarlet fire, whirling forth, rebounding, crying aloud, and about it are 4 columns of green and blue and gold and silver, each inscribed with writings in the character of the dagger, and the column of fire is dancing among the pillars. Now it seems that the fire is but the skirt of the dancer, and the dancer is a mighty god. The vision is overpowering. As the dancer whirls, she chants in a strange, low voice, quickening as she goes. Lo, I gather up every spirit that is pure, and weave him into my vesture of flame. I lick up the lives of men and their souls, sparkle from mine eyes. I am the mighty sorceress, the lust of the spirit, and by my dancing I gather for my mother knew it, the heads of all of them that are baptized in the waters of life. I am the lust of the spirit that eateth up the soul of man. I have prepared a feast for the adepts, and they partaketh thereof shall see God, and they that partake thereof shall see God. Now it is clear that she is woven in her dance. It is the crimson rose of 49 petals, and the pillars are the cross with which it is conjoined, and between the pillars shoot out rays of pure green fire, and now all the pillars are golden. She ceases to dance and dwindles, gathering herself into the center of the rose. Now it is seen that the rose is a vast amphitheater, with 7 tiers, each tier divided into 7 partitions, and they that sit in the amphitheater are the 7 grades of the Order of the Rosy Cross. The amphitheater is built of rose-colored marble, and of its size I can say only that the sun might be used as a ball to be thrown by the players in the arena, but in the arena there is a little altar of emerald, and its top has the heads of the 4 beasts in turquoise and rock crystal, and the floor of the arena is ridged like a grating of lapis lazuli, and it is full of pure quicksilver. Above the altar is a veiled figure whose name is Pan. Those in the outer tier adore him as a man, and in the next tier they adore him as a goat, and in the next tier they adore him as a ram, and in the next tier they adore him as a crab, and in the next tier they adore him as an ibis, and in the next tier they adore him as a golden hawk, and in the next tier they adore him not. Now the light streameth out from the altar, splashed out by the feet of him that is above it. It is the holy 12-fold tablet. A wit. The voice of him that is above the altar is silence, but the echo thereof cometh back from the walls of the circus, and it is speech. And this is the speech. 3 and 4 are the days of a quarter of the moon, and on the 7th day is the Sabbath. But thrice 4 is the Sabbath of the adepts, whereof the form is revealed in the Aethyr Zid. That is the 8th of the heirs, and the mysteries of the table shall not be wholly revealed, nor shall they be revealed herein, but thou shalt gather of the sweat of thy brow a pool of clear water wherein this shall be revealed, and of the oil that thou burnest in the midnight shall be gathered together in the 13 rivers of blessing, and of the oil and of the water I will prepare a wine to intoxicate the young men and the maidens. And now the table is become the universe. Every star is a letter of the book of Enoch, and the book of Enoch is drawn therefrom by an inscrutable mystery that is known only to the angels, and the holy 7-fold table. While I have been gazing upon this table, an adept has come forth, one from each tier, except the inmost tier, and first drove a dagger into my heart, and tasted the blood, and said, Katharos, 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 Katharos. And the second adept has been tasting the muscles of my right arm and shoulder, and he says, Fortis, 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 fortis. And the third adept examines the skin and tastes the sweat of my left arm and says, Ton, 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 ton. And the fourth adept examines my neck and seems to approve, although he says nothing. And he hath opened the right half of my brain, and he makes some examination and says, Samadja, samadja, samadja. And the fifth adept examines the left half of my brain, and then holds up his hand in protest and says, Plah. I cannot get the sentence, but the meaning is, in the thick darkness, the seed awaiteth spring. And now I am again wrapped in contemplation of that universe of letters which are stars. The words Orlo, Ilro, Tale are three most secret names of God. They are magic names, each having an interpretation of the same kind as the interpretation of INRI, and the name Oit, Rlu, Lurl, Oe are other names of God that contain magical formula. The first, to invoke fire. The second, water. The third, air. And the fourth, earth. And if the table be read diagonally, every letter and every combination of letters is the name of a devil. And from these are drawn the formula of evil magic. But the holy letter I above the triad L dominateth the table, and preserveth the peace of the universe. And in the 7 talismans about the central table are contained mysteries of drawing forth letters, and the letters of the circumference declare the glory of Nuit that beginneth from Aries. All this while the adepts have been chanting as if it were an oratorio for 7 instruments, and this oratorio hath one dominant theme of rapture, yet it applieth to every detail of the universe as well as to the whole, and herein is Coronzon brought utterly to ruin, that all his work is against his will, not only in the whole, but in every part thereof, even as a fly that walketh upon a beryl stone, and the tablet blazeth ever brighter, till it filleth the whole air. And behold, there is one God therein, and the letters of the stars in his crown, Orion, and the Pleiades, and the Aldebaran, and Alpha Centauri, and Cor Leonis, and Cor Scorpionus, and Spica, and the Pole Star, and Hercules, and Regulus, and Aquila, and the Ram's Eye. And upon a map of the stars shalt thou draw the sigil of that name, and because some of the letters are like, thou shalt know that the stars also have tribes and nations. The letter of a star is but the totem thereof, and the letter representeth not the whole nature of the star, but each star must be known by itself, in the wisdom of him that hath the Cynocephalus in leash. And this pertaineth unto the grade of a Magus, and that is beyond thine. All this is communicated not by voice or by writing, and there is no form of the stone, but only the brilliance of the table. And now I am withdrawn from all that, but the rosy cross of 49 petals is set upright upon the summit of a pyramid, and all is dark because of that exceeding light behind. And there cometh a voice. The fly cried unto the ox, Beware, strengthen thyself. Set thy feet firmly upon the earth, for it is my purpose to alight between thy shoulders, and I would not harm thee. So also are they who wished well unto the masters of the pyramid. And the bee said to the flower, Give me of thine honey. And the flower gave richly thereof. But the bee, though he wit it not, carried the seed of the flower into many fields of the sun. So also are they that take unto themselves the masters of the pyramid for servants. Now exceedingly light was that behind the pyramid, and the rosy cross is set thereon hath fulfilled the whole air. The black pyramid is like the back of a black diamond. Also the rose cross is loosened, and the petals of the rose are mingled hues of sunset and dawn, and the cross is the golden light of noon, and the heart of the rose there is a secret light that men call midnight. Now the corner letters of the holy tablet are all the letter B, representing each of the first of each of the 49, and an upside down Aries. So, and a voice. Glory to God, and thanksgiving to God, and there is no God but God. And he is exalted, he is great, and in the sevenfold table is his name writ openly, and in the 12-fold table is his name concealed. And the pyramid casts a shadow of itself into the sky, and the shadow spreads over the whole stone, and an angel clad in blue and scarlet with golden wings and plumes of purple fire comes forth and scatters discs of green and gold, filling all the air, and it becomes swiftly whirling wheels, singing together, and the voice of the angel cries, Gather up thy garments about thee, O thou that hast entered the circle of the Sabbath, for in thy grave clothes shouldest thou behold the resurrection. The flesh hangeth upon thee like his rags, upon a beggar that is a pilgrim to the shrine of the exalted one. Nevertheless, bear them bravely, and rejoice in thy beauty thereof, for the company of the pilgrims is a glad company, and they have